Welcome to the Healthy with Heartland podcast, the show built around bringing value to the Mid-Atlantic and growing. We're committed to helping families eating cleaner, safer, healthier foods. I'm Matt Balducci, TEDx speaker, husband, father, ex-bodybuilder, and business growth expert. And I'm here today with the Sultan of Sourcing himself, Jay Money.
What up?
Justin Freishtat.
How you doing, Matt?
I'm doing good, man. You ready to talk some seafood today?
I am. I'm excited for this.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be fun. So we're going to be picking Justin's brain on seafood as a whole. We're going to be talking about a couple new products that we just launched, as well as just how to integrate more seafood into your diet and the health benefits of that. We were just joking about it right before jumping on the podcast. I eat probably salmon or seafood 2 to 3 times a week. Huge seafood fan. But we're super excited to, bring our podcast here. So what I recommend everyone does before I throw it over to Simon and Shannon is like, share, comment, ask questions, throw any ideas out there that you guys have questions for future podcasts. And we're excited to have you tuning in today on Thursday morning. So I'm going to let Simon and Shannon take it away.
Awesome. Welcome back, Healthy with Heartland family. If you guys have not already, make sure that you are following us on Facebook. Always check us out on Instagram. We have mouthwatering food photos at all times, so we got you covered on that front. If you have not checked out our YouTube, you can check us out at youtube.com/HeartlandHomeFoods. All of our videos and podcast recaps are posted on there weekly. For the month of October, we have a fantastic reorder special. It's that whole turkey to come along with your order, so make sure you take advantage of that. You can call us at 800-492-5592, or you can email us at reorders@heartlandfoods.com. And then we have a fantastic new product, which we'd like to mention and announce, an exclusive product called cobia fish. So it's an extensive product that we've added to our delicious list, 6-ounce center cut fillets and 8-ounce fish taco strips. It's meaty, it's tender, it's buttery, a white fish with mild flavor. Be sure to ask your wellness consultants to add it to your next order. So I'm sure Matt and Justin will go into that. I will turn it back over to you both. Leave any comments or questions down below, and we will make sure to get to those as soon as possible.
Awesome.
Amen.
Let's talk seafood. You ready, Jay?
Yes.
All right.
Ready to talk about my least favorite topic, seafood.
Way to sell it, my man. I'm just kidding. But,
Hey, you like it, great, but
yeah, so
it's not my
perfect.
thing.
So the cool part is that, what we're going to dive into, we're going to talk a little bit about cobia here later on in the podcast. I definitely recommend that, on your next orders that you guys check it out, at least give it a try. I had some the other night. Phenomenal. Literally phenomenal. It's a delicious white fish. And I'll let Justin explain kind of the...
Well, you know it's good if I'll eat it, and I actually ate it. So.
How'd you do it? How'd you cook it?
So we grilled one of them.
Nice.
That was good. And then we did the fish taco strips in the pan, seared them up.
Mm.
It was actually really good, which is, I really am not into seafood, so
Right.
yeah. This is definitely one, if you're one of those people who never really crave seafood like me, cobia is the one to try. You'll definitely enjoy it.
Definitely.
I love it. So let's dive in a little bit into just overall kind of the understanding of how seafood, but really fish, work. So, there's different options out there that people see in the grocery store, as well as, from when they purchase from us. They can get wild caught, they can get farm raised, they can get ocean raised. So, can you just give everyone kind of an overview, Justin, on, the 3 different types of, seafood out there that people can buy and maybe some of the differences and benefits?
Yeah, so seafood is the least regulated of all the different foods you can buy, just because it comes from the ocean or it's farm raised in another country, and the supply chains are very uncertain. So seafood of all things, you need to know where it's coming from a trusted source, somebody who sees the whole audit trail like Heartland. So there's a huge array of way that seafood's raised, right? Popular thinking, everybody hears this, farm raised, bad. And generally speaking, traditional farm-raised fish is pretty bad. So just to give you a picture of why people say, don't eat tilapia, it's disgusting, it's a trash fish, it's all these things. Well, really, it's not. It's just that tilapia will eat anything. So they pretty much mismanaged the raising of these, and it's really cheap, because what they'll do in foreign countries, they'll actually raise chicken coops above the fish tanks, right? So they'll feed the chickens, and then the chickens feed the fish. So you can do the math on that.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Yes. So that is the type of farm-raised fish you do not want to eat.
Yeah.
I think we can all agree on that.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Amen.
Oh my God, that's disgusting.
Yeah. But on the other side of that, there's a correct way to do ocean farming. So think of big netted areas of the ocean where we can responsibly and in a clean manner sustainably raise high quality fish, just like they would be raised, in the natural wild environment. Yep. That's completely different than traditional farm raised fish. So it's not always bad if it's done the correct way in the ocean. It's just as clean as if it was wild.
Got it.
And kind of even better, right? Because you can kind of control what's going on in that instance, as opposed to even in the wild right now with it's horrible to say pollution, right?
Yep.
So they're eating all the things that are essentially being polluted into the oceans and that kind of stuff as well. So I thought it was really interesting that I didn't know organic seafood was not a thing in the U.S. Basically, you can't label it organic, and if it is labeled organic, it's probably from Northern Europe or Canada. I had no idea. I thought that was pretty intense, because here we are, if you do go and you are looking for organic seafood, you're thinking the same thing as organic meat, organic vegetables. You're thinking it's the same regulations. Absolutely not. It's totally, it's outsourced. It's from another country. It's not U.S.
Such a buzzword, right? What
right?
does that even mean, organic fish?
Right.
What makes a fish organic?
Yeah.
Wasn't created in a lab, right?
Exactly.
Actually, it's just like the other stuff. Certified organic fish means that they just gave them an organic feed. That's all it means.
Right.
Right. As long as we give them organic corn to eat on,
it's
organic.
Right. Yeah.
Got it. So let's segue a little bit, guys. So I just learned a lot actually, which isn't awesome. But let's segue. Obviously our product in general from Heartland Foods is flash frozen. So sometimes one of the biggest concerns that we have from families from a seafood standpoint is I can go down to the local market. I can pick up, I like to pick up my seafood fresh. I don't want it frozen. But obviously we all know here that, when the de-thaw happens, it's almost equivalent, if not better. Yeah. But I want you, Justin, to explain maybe to some of our Heartland family, but also people that out there that are looking at this and trying to figure out what they want to order from us. Why is the flash freezing process okay with our seafood? And actually sometimes, most of the time it makes it a better product as well.
Yeah, in the practical application of how your food gets through a supply chain to your table, you absolutely want to buy your seafood flash frozen. That is 100% the way you want to get it. It's going to be way fresher than anything that's been in a fresh supply chain for a week, right? So if you catch it, fillet it, debone it, package it, and flash freeze it all in one motion right on board the ship. Uh-oh. And, whether you do it that way or you bring it to shore, whatever, you're cutting down the time, right? So when you thaw that product out in your kitchen, whether it be a month, 6 months later, it's going to be like it was fresh cut in front of you. In a perfect world, we want to cut it, fillet it, eat it fresh right on the spot. But that's not a practical application of how the seafood's going to get from where it is to the processor, packed all the way to your home. So flash freezing is the way to go.
Unless you guys want to take a trip to Alaska, about 5 years ago, I was out there and we caught 200 pounds of halibut. And then right after, we had someone who just took it, packaged it for us, and we shipped it back, but we had it flash frozen. And it was funny because back then I had no idea what flash freezing meant. I just had 20 pounds of halibut waiting for me when I got home.
Way.
So
tell us the story. How
we just chartered a boat. We had I think we had 10 or 15 guys, buddies of mine, and we just went out to Alaska. And I'm not a huge fisherman, but it was wild. We were catching, everybody was catching all these. We had some guys out there showing us how to do it and where to go. But it was absurd. 200 pounds of halibut.
I can't even imagine. Yeah.
Some big fish.
Yeah, we were pulling them all in, and then I think there was 10 of us split them up 20 pounds each, and then we shipped them all back to. At the time, I was I was here in Maryland, so I shipped it to Annapolis. So,
wow,
nice.
And then I ate halibut forever. It was
Are you tired of it?
Yeah.
Heck no, I'll eat that all day. But that's why cobia is so delicious, because it's very good. It's a good whitefish. But so it's crazy when you hear the lack of regulations on seafood. It freaks me out. But and sometimes people are nervous, especially alpha males out there. Justin, no, I'm just kidding. But I'm a huge seafood eater, and again, because there's a lot of benefits to it, from the vitamins and the nutrients that come in the higher quality seafood. But from a standpoint of how we source our seafood as a whole, we'll talk specifically use the example of salmon. I think salmon is a widely eaten seafood and probably one of our top selections from our families out there. So, what part of the fish do we get our seafood from, Justin? And then how do we source it, and what company do we get it from?
So specifically on salmon, we have a lot of sources for salmon, different types, because there's so many different breeds, right? And everybody's got a different preference on that. What's interesting, just so people know, when you buy farm-raised salmon, what gives salmon that orangey, red, dark color is their diet. In the wild, they're going to eat krill, which is going to give them that color, right? So in farm-raised salmon, they're actually gray because they don't get the color from that. So the dangerous thing about farm-raised salmon is they're going to use dyes to get that really nice, pretty orange color, right? So that's pretty irresponsible as far as, you don't want to be ingesting endocrine disrupting dyes and all these different things. So there is a responsible way to do it. So just so you know, when you get our farm-raised salmon, it's ocean farmed. There's a couple ways depending on if you're getting our Scottish salmon, the Atlantic salmon that we have from the U.S. from True North Seafood, or our Chilean. All preference, but we're not going to use those dyes. So you can use beta carotene. That's going to be the feed additive, if you will, which is natural, doesn't have any health repercussions, and you can still get the color. I just thought people would think that was interesting, that farm-raised salmon, if they didn't add color to it, would literally be gray.
Yeah,
wow,
that's wild.
That is freaky. Jesus, man. Right. So, but again, let's kind of segue now into our newest addition to the Heartland family, the cobia fish, right? And we all got to try it. If you haven't had a chance to watch the video that we just posted yesterday on it, phenomenal. Obviously, starring Jay Money here. One of the lines that I loved him saying is that we as a company. So before we send anything out to our clients, everybody in the company is not required to, but everyone gets an opportunity to try it. And literally every single person came back with 5-star reviews.
Perks of the job, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, free food, baby. So, but again, everybody came back and said, this is phenomenal. We absolutely need to use it. And we were able to bring it out to you guys at a super reasonable price as well. So, Justin, why don't you just give a quick overview on cobia, and then we'll dive into the details of it.
Yeah. First, I want to highlight the process of how we add a product to our product list. So before we even get into the taste testing and all that stuff, we're checking the whole audit trail, the company that we're working with, down to details that, it's not even in the video we did because it's just too comprehensive. So little things like the way this company, Open Blue, does the cobia raising, they actually have a small nursery right offshore where they raise the little, I forget what they call them, but the little baby fish, and then they move them to the deep water enclosures where you're basically, the whole process is designed to not affect the local ecosystem, right? So we want to do the responsible thing when it comes to all of the farms we work with or seafood, that it's, number one, humane animal handling. These are respectable creatures. We want to provide quality food, but also respect the animals or the fish in this case. So that's number one, and cobia checks all those boxes. And then getting into the health factors, I've never seen a fish. I actually didn't really believe it when I started looking at these statistics. I mean, I'm going to have to read this because it's still new, but 1.22 grams of EPA and DHA fatty acids, which are your healthy omega-3 fats. And cobia packs more of it than anything I've ever seen.
You get rid of your fish oil pills.
That's right.
Yeah.
Eat one of these a day.
Yep. No carbs, right? It's a fish. So it's 22 grams of protein in 4 ounces.
That's a lot of protein.
That is a lot of protein. That's better than chicken, isn't it?
In 4 ounces, yeah.
Better than steak. Yeah, it's a lot. Wow.
Yeah. So it's something you can add in. Of course, my biggest concern was the taste test because I don't like fish. But cobia, surprisingly, it was very similar to a sea bass to me, or a halibut. So in that family, because of the omega fats in there, you're going to have some more flavor. So I was pleasantly surprised that it did not have a fishy taste, which I just can't stand. Yeah. So
yeah, it's very mild. It's really mild.
Very impressed with cobia.
Yeah, it was delicious, and my wife loved it. And she doesn't eat red meat. She eats mostly seafood and chicken, and she was like, oh, yeah, in our next order, we're definitely getting some of this. So I'm excited to add it to the lineup. So, but yeah, from a standpoint of, cobia as a whole, obviously there's a lot of benefits of this new, we got a
comment. So James Collins said, cobia samples with Justin chefing it up, ? Is that a go?
Sure.
Let's do it.
Send us some referrals first. No, I'm just so, and then we'll trade you.
Right.
So, and on
We
that,
have like a Heartland summit. We just have big taste tests.
Right.
Definitely.
that'd be awesome, actually. To just have our top 20 clients come in and try it. Yeah, that's right. We have a top 20. So if you want to be a part of it, you got to let us know how you want to make it. We have a ranking system. No, just kidding.
Hilarious.
So, but with that segue, we do have an extensive referral program, and we're gonna be making a really cool announcement coming up in a couple weeks. So, what I recommend everyone out there do right now is think of the families out there that are going through distance learning. They're stressed out. Obviously the world is crazy right now. And if they can use having 6 months worth of food in their home right now, especially with what's about to take place in the winter here, we want to make sure that, we're set up for taking care of your friends as well. So feel free to send them over to J Money, our wellness consultants, wellness consultants, right? And we highly recommend that. And just a reminder, if you don't remember how our referral program works, as of now, it's going to change here in a couple weeks, but as of now, anybody refer our way, you get $100 off your next order. And up to 7 people that sign up for our service, you get a free 6-month order of food. Exactly, which for most families, a couple $1,000. And again, I'm sure everybody out there wants to save a couple $1,000, especially on a commodity that they absolutely have to have, which is food.
That's right.
So again, send those referrals in. If you don't know how to do that, literally just go to our website, have them sign up, or you can text them directly to your wellness consultant, or you can call our office.
And there's also a link down below, heartlandfoods.com/refer. You can refer away.
I love it, especially for some cobia action. So if we go
Real quick, one thing on that, just it seemed kind of unattainable at first, and I feel like a lot of people don't even get started with the referral program. But there are plenty of families who have had multiple free orders. I mean, we're talking a year and a half of not having to pay for your second highest expense. So if you need help or you want to get started, there's no shame in reaching out to us. We'll give you advice. We'll help you out. And there's a lot of casual ways to refer your friends on social media without feeling pushy and all that.
I love that. And we call them a strategy meeting. So call us up if you want to do that, and we can strategize on how to approach the right people and who might be the right fit. Sometimes you might be thinking of your 5 best friends, but in reality, there's a bunch of people in your network that would be love the services you guys do out there as well. And, I want you to think, I love that. I didn't even think of that. But the best analogy is, what if I told you that we would basically pay 6 months of your mortgage right now? And all you had to do was basically send, 7 people our way to, use our service, right? That's the kind of the equivalency here. Obviously, it's not as crazy as your mortgage, right? But we're talking, quarter of that. But for most
Depends
people,
on the family size.
Exactly.
Sure.
But again, a couple $1,000 a year. Use that for whatever you want. So, super excited, guys. We have a robust referral program, and the reason I'm prepping everyone out there is I'm just telling you I can't make the announcement yet, but we have a phenomenal program that's going to be launching soon that I'm telling you, just get those referrals ready, because if you want a free 6-month order of food, it's going to be easier than ever before. So super excited. So on that topic, of seafood, one of the key things that I look toward is, from a standpoint of supplementation, and we just joked a little bit about, removing your omega-3s from your supplements that you're using. So right now, if you're out there and you're like, hey, what kind of supplements should I be taking? Omega-3s absolutely should be in your supplement kit. And again, there's a bunch of different companies out there. I'm not going to tell you which one to go get, but I would do a lot of research. And it's one of the best supplements you can possibly have in regards to just basically helping your joints and keeping you, healthy and strong. And most people, because they don't eat seafood, don't get enough omega-3s, and that's how you can supplement it as well, as making sure that you have at least one seafood meal a week. Okay, so whether that is salmon, tilapia, whatever it is, obviously there's each seafood has different amounts of omega-3s in it, but I would do a lot of research on that, and I'll tell you right now, it'll definitely help you out, and they're relatively inexpensive because there's such a high demand for that one supplement. Okay,
Little piece of advice on fish oils. If you buy a fish oil supplement and maybe you're the person that says, I don't really like taking them because I get those fishy burps, that means that's a bad quality supplement. So I've done a lot of research. I got lot of my supplement advice from Dave Shuttler.
Yes.
We all know Dave.
Big Dave.
We'll be bringing Dave on here eventually. But
Drop the bomb for Dave.
yeah, it's just like food, right? The quality supplements, there's a huge range of what you're going to get, and it's virtually impossible without doing 6 months of research, of hard research, for you to know that stuff. So again, reach out to us. We have the resources and advice for your complete supplement profile as well.
I love it.
Wonderful.
I love it. Again, overall wellness, not just food, but overall wellness, guys. That's what we're all about. So with that, any other questions, Justin, or any other tips you have on seafood for today?
Yeah, the flash freezing thing, one thing we didn't talk about is the sashimi grade aspect. So our salmon and tuna is sashimi grade. You can eat it raw if you like. And every time you go to one of those sushi places that you love, that's always flash frozen fish because it actually kills bacteria, gets rid of the parasites if there are any, things like that. That's what makes it safe. So that's why we do flash frozen seafood.
I love it. And then I guess last question for seafood that I have, and this is something from, past experiences and things I hear all the time with people that say I don't eat seafood because of that they're nervous about mercury, right? So, mercury poisoning, I think it was more prevalent maybe 5-10 years ago where we were hearing all of that, mercury. I don't hear it as often anymore, but maybe you can share, Justin, kind of, what does that mean that, why is that, should that not be a concern? And what should you be looking for to know if it does have high levels of mercury?
Yeah, I think mercury poisoning, arsenic poisoning, you can get a lot of different poisonings from too much of anything. So when it comes to fish, the bigger the fish, the more predatory in nature the fish is, the higher the mercury levels are going to be. So your swordfish, tuna, that's something you want to eat sparingly. If you do eat that every day, like if you're one of those people that gets cans of tuna and you're eating that every day, you're definitely putting a toxic load in the form of heavy metals on your body. So, you can sauna, you can do other things to eradicate heavy metals, but we don't want to overdo it, right? Same thing with, this is something that everybody should know. Brown rice has trace arsenic in it. So I don't eat brown rice. And I had a customer that got arsenic poisoning from eating too much brown rice.
Oh my goodness.
So you really want to rotate it around, right? Don't eat too much of anything. Don't get really linear. That's why I make myself eat fish every now and then when I don't want to.
Basmati rice.
They have a list online, basically. When you look it up, they say fish to avoid that are higher in mercury. Some of the ones that you mentioned, shark, swordfish, and king mackerel. I don't think we carry any of those, do we?
No.
We carry sword.
We carry
Yeah.
We have
swordfish.
swordfish,
Yeah.
but
No shark.
And shark, if anybody, I had shark. I think it was like 4 years ago, and it was the worst taste. And again, they might have prepared it wrong, but horrible. Right. So obviously, there's probably people out there that are like, Matt, I've had the best shark ever, but it was interesting when I was thinking about as I was eating this animal that it would literally destroy me if it was me versus versus
one-on-one in the water.
Have you heard of so there's more fraud in the seafood industry than any other industry when it comes to food.
Yeah.
A common practice, they'll actually stamp out shark tails and sell them as scallops.
What?
Yeah. And I heard that as well. Like when you're buying seafood from even local fishmongers and stuff like that, like they'll use like what is it, like one of the other types of fish, like orange roughy or something, and say it's red snapper just because of the pricing. So it's like the whole thing of like if you don't know actually where you're getting it from or who you're getting it from, it could be totally like an imposter essentially. Like it could be a total fake.
Yeah, and unless you absolutely know, right? If you're like a seafood connoisseur, right?
Yeah.
Which I'm definitely not, then it would be the equivalent of someone saying that this is a super fancy bottle of wine. In reality, it's just some grapes, right? So some grape juice. But just a real quick. Oh, go ahead.
So one more thing. So the fish with lower amounts of mercury, kind of like you mentioned, shrimp, tuna, salmon, pollock, all of which we carry. And now we have cobia. So all of those things we have,
Available.
Lower amounts of mercury. So if you're looking to incorporate more fish, we have all those things on our menu.
And just a side note, drink a lot of water, guys. I'm on my second bottle in this 20-minute period. But
hydration.
Exactly.
Program.
Exactly. There we go.
Hydration
So
is key.
I just want to tell a funny shark story. So so I think I was 19 years old and I was down in Cancun, Mexico. Okay, and this was before regulations. I don't know if they still allowed to do this anymore, but basically I jumped into a cage and they dropped me into the water and I was able to feed some sharks. It's the freakiest thing I've ever done. My heart was racing. Now, the shark was unfortunately, obviously, treating animals horribly. They were drugged up. You can see it. They were just kind of like roaming around. Definitely weren't, fully there, but it was freaky as hell. Like it was probably one of the coolest things I've ever done. But heart was racing. Flight or flight response kicked in, and then it was just wild. But I don't know if they still do that. I doubt it. But it was awesome. So,
yeah.
Wow.
So again, shark versus me, probably get murdered. So, but perfect. So outside of that, do we have any other final thoughts or anything we want to wrap up with?
No, if you haven't tried the cobia, we definitely recommend it. Reach out to your wellness consultant and add it to your next order.
Awesome. So again, guys, with our referral program announcement coming in a few weeks, I hate to keep bringing it up, but right now with what's going on in the world, we completely understand that maybe you're not as social as you used to be, right? Maybe you're not out there, seeing your friends as much as you used to be, but, it's an opportunity for us to reach out to them. The best way to do it is just to simply connect us via group chat or, connect us and let us talk to them. Again, there's going to be zero pressure on them using our service. We just want to educate them on how it works and why are you so happy with our service from the deliciousness of the food. As you guys all know out there, most families love our product. Obviously, the health contents are absolutely phenomenal. Most people use it because of convenience. And I know everybody out there right now knows a friend that is stressed out, especially around meals. And what you don't want to have happen is them having to, one, spend a bunch of money going out to eat food because they don't have time to cook. Or two, they are going to end up, and this is no judgment, but they're going to end up gaining weight or becoming unhealthy due to the food content that they're bringing into their families. So allow us to be that source for them to at least, supplement while they're going through this stressful time, especially going into the winter as it gets darker earlier, all the different things that lead into less socialization. So refer those folks out to us, guys. We're super excited. And with that, I'll let Justin close us out.
All right, Heartland fam. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you again next week. And as always, stay healthy with Heartland.